and we were always very close. Mama used to tell us that it was important to love everybody and to treat people right. And with $500 and plus one other small scholarship, I was accepted to the University of Arkansas. As soon as I finished college, just before that, I had an advisor, Mr. Reed, who came to me and he talked about this newspaper that was in Little Rock, Arkansas, and on January 29, 1988, I started at the Arkansas Gazette, oldest newspaper west of the Mississippi River. Gannett is the only news organization that I have worked for. But I will say that from early on, from the early days of my career, I've been called the N-word in many different ways while doing a story, while doing various stories. One of my first memories of racism, and I was shocked, was when I answered the telephone at the newspaper in Little Rock, and this woman on the other end in the features department, she said, "I need to speak to that little nigger girl who's sitting at the front desk." I said, "Oh my God, like really?" I said, "Did you just say nigger?" I dropped the phone. Literally, there were reporters sitting near me, white reporters, who said, they were like, "What's wrong?" Because I was embraced. Even in the South, even in the newsroom here in Florida, the racism that can exist, I didn't really experience that outright in the newsroom. So, but when it came to racism, I experienced it when doing stories or when answering the phone. While I was in Florida, I started there on the copy desk, but I got my first promotion into management as an editor who worked in the field because they asked me, "What are you interested in?" I went into a management training program. I started a program called the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Project. It appeared on the cover of Editor and Publisher magazine. Keith Moyer at the time was the editor in Rochester, New York. And he was here and he saw the Editor and Publisher magazine cover. And I'm not sure, I hadn't seen him in 2 years, but he had been the editor at the Little Rock newspaper. And within a couple of weeks I was on a plane. Not long after that, I had a job here and was moving here. And I came in as the assistant managing editor for News 2000. I had like a first career and a second career. In my first career, I was an assistant managing editor for training for News 2000, thinking ahead about how to work with the community, and I always liked working with people. And so my first few years, that's what I did. In 1998, I was in my second pregnancy because as soon as I got here, within 6 months, I met my husband.
When I first met Cynthia, it was a great experience. We met at my parents' church. I grew up in the city of Rochester in a ministry that was 35 years old. And Cynthia came from down south. She had moved up here from Fort Myers, Florida. And I couldn't believe that someone would come from Fort Myers, Florida, that she enjoyed down there, to Rochester, where it was freezing cold. When she came up here, it was 3 degrees.
Within 6 or 7 months, we were married.
This was over some 20 years ago. We've been married over 2 decades.
And I started a family. So from 1998 to 2003, I was home with my children.
And 3 beautiful children came out of it.
Downtown, actually, we Sharp did a really good story not too long ago.
My management style is assertive. My style is to value the various opinions in the room.
You know, sum the whole thing up in like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, which is
and but to be the decision maker.
So have you seen everything? Here's the challenge.
My family means everything to me, and my husband, Jeff, is a pastor. He founded our church, which is called Rebirth Ministries.
And it's a joy working with her. She is, again, an awesome woman of God, and she's an awesome speaker as well. And so I enjoy the co-ministry together.
Ongoing community leadership is not only defined through aspiring journalists, that they care about the people, but also in light of accuracy and making sure that they're fair and balanced in how they do things. You can't allow what you think about people to become a part of your report. You have to be objective, and you just have to ensure that no matter where you're coming from, that you're doing what's right. My mother, she died in 2013, and my sister also died. My oldest sister passed the same year, 2 months apart. So, in memory of them, I give in memory of them. My mother believed in giving. She ran a tight ship. She believed in the love of Jesus Christ. And so, even now, these years later, I try and keep alive what I was taught as a child.
Congratulations, Cynthia, if you'd like to say a few words.
I'm going to keep my words very few because I'm very overwhelmed right now. Joy and happiness and tears and everything all at once. But first I want to give honor to God, who is the head of my life. I thank God certainly for my family, for my husband, Jeff. We call him on Sunday morning Pastor Jeff. And my daughters are here, Sydney and Jasmine. And for anybody who is in this discipline that we have called journalism, you know what that means to have a supportive family by your side. How about it?
Yeah.
I want to thank RABJ and Richard McCullough and team. Extraordinary event, extraordinary work that is being done in this Rochester community. I love what we're seeing when it comes to the documentaries. What do you think? And it also, it honors me anytime that there is a peer organization or a peer group that takes time out to honor its own. And we appreciate you, Rochester Association of Black Journalists. Also to our friend Kevin Hicks and all of those who are a part of the modern day RABJ. I can remember when we were at Benning, was it Benning it was a restaurant right downtown when we started the group. Bennington's. Right. So May Stone Malanga was our first president, and Gary McClendon was there, Sheila Ram, several of us, and we became the founding members of the Rochester Association of Black Journalists. And so it is an honor and a privilege. This is the second organization I've had the privilege to help found. I want to also just say thank you to the Democrat and Chronicle and to Gannett. My story is one that when we did our interviews, it was really important because of the community we live in and some of the conditions that we are very well aware of and are writing about and publicizing in the Democrat and Chronicle, to go back and talk about my roots of coming out of poverty. And the Wyoming Best Scholarship Fund, that is what it's all about, is reaching out and trying to help somebody else and to help our young people. And at the Democrat and Chronicle, we really believe in growing our own and making sure that we do not leave anyone behind. I understand one of the scholarship winners is in the room. She was one of our interns. So I'm very grateful to Gannett and to the DNC, to my editor, Karen Magnuson, who is here on the front row looking beautiful. And to my supervisor, who has been a great supporter of, and they are both diversity champions, and Karen is not only a diversity champion here in Rochester, but a champion throughout the United States through APME. So Dick Moss is standing in the back. We just want to acknowledge him. There, if you have any stories you're thinking of, the brass is in the room. I'm just saying. He is our news director and the supervisor of our daily report. And also, I just want to say that that when I came up, I was born in the mid-'60s, during a time when, during the civil rights movement and the civil rights era. And so that's what's in me, and what's in you is going to what? It's going to come out. And so I can remember being a child and hearing about Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And one thing that was instilled in me at a very young age through studying Dr. King was that we really have to work, we have to be concerned about the content of our character. It's not about the color of our skin, but about the content of our character. And so through that, over these years, I have tried to convey that and to personify that in my daily work. To bring character to the Democrat and Chronicle and to young journalists who are coming up. I would just say that if you have come from a background such as this, some of us have, that you have to recognize that you're not walking alone on this journey. And I encourage you to recognize that there are companies out there that when you get with a company, just have some stick-to-itness. You know, I once heard someone say that you have to stick to it and recognize that you are not walking alone, and that there is something to be said for communication and for collaboration. And recognize that you may feel alone some days when you're just starting out and you're young and you do not have enough money. But somehow, God made a way for me to pay my own way through college. And then also get a job, and I know that you can also do it too. We wish you all the best, all of our One of the Best Scholarship Fund winners. We thank you, everyone, and I hope I didn't leave anybody out, Joanne and everyone. So thank you so much.
You know that each of these pieces on Cynthia and Rodney run 30 minutes. This is just a snippet. If you go to RABJ you find our YouTube site and all the outlets that we have online, and you can actually see those. And they are getting copies of this piece tonight as well. Okay.
Michelle.
One more thing.
Thank you. I think Rodney really put it best. We really need to reach higher, not only in ourselves, but we really need to encourage the youth in our city to reach higher. And one thing that the mayor says, one thing the mayor always makes a priority is to create more role models in this city, get more role models out to inspire our youth. And I think that's one thing that our two honorees here tonight really exemplify. Not only through your work do you tell the stories of some of the incredible things and the incredible people that we have in this city, but you inspire others. Rodney, again, it's not only are you a leader to so many people in the city, but you help create young leaders, show our young people what they can aspire to. On behalf of Mayor Warren, I'd like to thank you and congratulate you for everything you do. And Cynthia. Cynthia is a former colleague of mine, and I am very grateful for the opportunity to have learned from her while during my time at the Democrat and Chronicle. And I can tell you firsthand just how dedicated she is to journalism as a profession and to this community as a whole. Now more than ever, our youth need more positive role models, especially more female positive role models to inspire our young women. So just on behalf of Mayor Warren, I'd like to thank you for everything you do. As a Democrat and Chronicle, outside, and many organizations are involved. And thank you so much, Cynthia.
Jessica Limo and the City of Rochester and Mayor Warren. I want to remind everyone that this evening is about honoring excellence of people who've worked very hard their lives, but they had to start somewhere. And that is the whole point behind the Wyoma Best Scholarship for Future Journalists. Your tickets and the money that was raised tonight goes to that fund. If you'd like to add to that fund, our treasurer, Sasha Ann Simons, who's supposed to be waving at you right now, but you find her, there she is. If you find her, she can take cash, checks, credit cards, anything. It all goes to the Wyoma Best Scholarship Fund for Future Journalists. If it were not for these types of programs, I would not be able to have been a journalist. It was the Portland Association of Black Journalists that helped me get a start, and the National Association of Hispanic Journalists that got my start, and I know that that's the case for so many people. So I highly encourage you, because we want to see people, the next generation, sitting up here in the next years. So thank you very much for that. Before we conclude the evening, I want to introduce our members of RABJ. We've got Kevin Hicks, RABJ VP of Print, Freelance, and Freelance Journalist. Where are you? He's hiding. But we'll send him our love in here he is. We've got Rhonda Austin, RABJ Secretary, Radio Operations Manager at WXXI Public Broadcasting. Sasha Ann Simons, RABJ Treasurer, remember her face. She's also a multimedia reporter producer for WXXI Public Broadcasting. What a joy to work with. Dolores Orman, RABJ Parliamentarian and a former reporter for the Democrat and Chronicle. Nate Brown is the host of Brown and Allen Show. Helen Bianduti Hofer, she's the host of Need to Know for WXXI Public Broadcasting. Carolyn Blunt, executive editor for About Time magazine. Erica Bryant, columnist for the Democrat and Chronicle. Cecil Felton from St. John Fisher College. Tonda Isaac. Kenny Jean, founder and chairman of LYFE, Life Multimedia Group, Our Voice magazine. Malia Jones, student from Nazareth College and our scholarship winner. Janet Lomax, an anchor at News 10 NBC. George Rodney, sports director at the Challenger newspaper. Ayorinde Omanwale, and that he's from RIT, and I'm also I work at WX6. I am a reporter and producer. My name is Michelle Faust. I'm the vice president for social media and marketing. That said, I have to remind you, if you have your phone handy, you can go on Twitter, Facebook, and like us. And our Facebook page has all of this information. We'll have links to the videos. We'll have all of that available. And very soon, RABJ will be getting a very new website. And we hope you'll see that by getting the alerts on social media. So, thank you very much for being here. We should also thank our sponsor. Thank you to Nate Rawls Band, the Perkins Mansion, PJ Celebrate Event Catering, Cynthia Benjamin, Rodney Young, Kareem Hayes, and Jackie Campbell, all of our sponsors, corporate and our patrons, and thank you all for buying tickets that go to this wonderful event and this wonderful scholarship fund. Again, I'm Michelle Faust. On behalf of RABJ, thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
Some of the families of the memoriam are here. Marsha Jones' family, the sisters, the daughters are here. Would you stand up, please? Marsha, they don't like to listen to that. Alice and Faith are Marsha's daughters, and we want to thank her for being here tonight. And also, our RABJ brothers, sisters, yeah, I always get that messed up. BABJ folks. Rod Watson is here. Rod, would you stand up if you're here, Rod? Thank you. Thank you. Alan Wilson was in Buffalo, and they're representing, and also his wife, Alan Wilson's wife. Also, we have the family of Marietta Avery and Marietta's sisters here. Please stand, Linda. Thank you so much for being here this evening. And remember, go to our website. You get the long versions of everything. The memoriams are 50 minutes long, and these documentaries are longer as well. So enjoy your evening. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Get your tickets ready. We'll be announcing our raffle winners in just a moment. We have a Dunkin' Donuts gift card for 717-552. 717-552.
I never do it. I feel real comfortable. In memoriam is a long version of something. I mean, I don't think that should have to be illegal. RABJ. People go through
We've got a Dunkin' Donut gift card for 480.
Yeah, and we can't get are we going to
Your tickets are located in your program. In your program. Another gift card for 717-493. 493.
That's my question.